Hi everyone, Marisa Stone here from Simon Says Social and the Systems Lounge. And I want to welcome you today to the 2018 Premier International Women's Business Systems Virtual Summit, where you get to learn all about the systems that our speakers are using to get things done. And I'm super excited today to have Kat Soper here. She is going to talk with us all about mapping 8 business fundamentals. Now, before you take off on us and go, oh my gosh, I don't want to do all that, pay attention to this session, because this is really where the rubber hits the road. When we start talking about what are those fundamental components that you need working inside your business in order to up-level your business while you remain firmly planted in your zone of genius. So let me tell you a little bit about Kat. Kat is a trainer, a systems strategist, and a business coach, and she is based out of Wellington, New Zealand. She actually owns the Helpful Academy, which is a group of business services and training courses for businesses just like yours. Kat is particularly passionate about helping people to achieve their goals through smart systems and processes. And that is one of the reasons that I love having you here today, Kat. Welcome to the summit.
Oh, thank you so much, Marissa. It's so awesome to be here today. Yay. I'm looking forward to it. What a great introduction.
Awesome. So let's kind of begin at the beginning. When we're talking about business fundamentals, what in the world are we talking about?
Yeah, really. I think you summed it up really well when you talked about the foundation of the business, and this is the starting point. And so I actually saw that my interview was up first, and I thought, what an honor, but how appropriate, because I kind of, and can you hear me all right? Because my internet.
Yeah, I see that there's a little bit of instability, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and I'll edit anything out. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. So if we look at the definition of a fundamental, it means, part of the base or part of the core. And that's how I see these 8 fundamentals, is they're part of the foundation of your business. They're relevant to every business. It's not, I haven't reinvented the wheel or anything. I'm just kind of systemizing the obvious.
Yeah.
So if we look at the 8 fundamentals that I look at, the one thing that I look at, which can often surprise people, is that I actually look at the business owner themselves first. So I'm interested in how the business owner organizes their time. What is their priority and commitment to the business, and how does their health affect the business? So that's the number one fundamental. The first fundamental is the business owner, your impact on the business. And then the second business fundamental that we look at is the business plan or the strategy. So we're looking, does the business have a plan, or are they kind of just flying by the seat of their pants? Because, that happens. Who's been there? And so then the number 3 one is the business finances, because, it's shocking how many businesses go out of business because of the state of their finances, right? Yeah. So we need to have really strong, good financial systems as the foundation. Then the number 4 is systems and processes. And even though I'm kind of looking at systems across all 8 fundamentals, this is the core of the administration processes. So here we're kind of looking at, how do they manage their clients? Do they have a CRM? How do they manage their job management system? How do they manage their invoicing? All of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Then we've got number 5, which is the team. So here we're looking at, how do they manage their team? And even, for those solopreneurs who I hear in the back of my mind saying, hey, but I don't have a team, I just like to challenge you, you do, because, all solopreneurs need a team, whether that's your accountant or your advocates or your affiliates, they're all part of your team. So even if you don't directly have employees or contractors working for your business, think about what other team members you have supporting you. And your systems around that. So then number 6, the 6th business fundamental is your brand. So we're looking here at your website, your logo, your branding, your messaging that you're putting out there, your style guide, or how is all of that systemized? Yeah. Then we have number 7, which is sales and marketing. So do you have a sales plan? Do you have a marketing plan? Do you have a social media plan? And finally, the 8th fundamental, which a lot of people miss, but I'm really passionate about this one, is customer experience, because without our customers, we wouldn't have a business, right? So how are we systemizing and managing their experience in our business? So those are the 8 fundamentals that I think apply to all businesses. We've got the business owner, the business plan, the business finances, the systems and processes, the team, the brand, sales and marketing, and finally client experience.
Yeah. So why is it important that entrepreneurs pay attention to these things? Like, I know you made a really good point when you said, just because you're an entrepreneur and you're a one person or a solopreneur and you're one person, it doesn't mean you don't have a team. So why is it that entrepreneurs need to be honed in on these 8 fundamentals for their business?
Well, being an entrepreneur is just like every other business, like we have some slightly different challenges, but at the end of the day, kind of all businesses are the same machine. We all have the same challenges. We're all dealing with the same markets a lot of the time. So just being aware that all of these things place the foundation of our business can really help catapult us, to future success.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So one of the things that you work with your clients on is how these effective systems are a fundamental part of their business. You say that great systems allow a business owner and a team to be in flow or work efficiently and productively. Can you talk with us about what this means and why this is the case?
Yeah, sure. So I guess when I'm talking about being in flow, what I'm talking about is maximizing on our energy, because, being out of flow is not a good use of our energy or our resources. We come up against blocks all the time. Yeah. So being in flow means that we're actually thinking ahead and we're working in our genius, and we have people doing the tasks that are not second nature to us or not in our genius, doing those for us and kind of working more cohesively. So like one really simple system that I've used in the past to revolutionize one of my clients is, it can be very, very simple, but I worked with these clients who were very successful real estate agents. They're the top agents in our city. And when I started working with them, they are amazing at what they do. Their business was super growing. I tend to work with businesses who are growing at the rate of knots. Yeah. But the trouble with those businesses is that they've outgrown their systems, right? So they're like these little hamster wheels and getting stuck in their trap. And so the business manager was not sleeping. Instead, she was lying there every night thinking, oh God, have I done this? Have I done that? How many of us have been there? Yeah. And so the very first system that I put into her business for her was to implement Trello. And so we actually sat down for an hour and we documented every step of the process, like from the minute a client signed up to the minute they sold their house, what were the exact steps that needed to happen. Yeah. And then I just made a checklist in Trello that we used for all of the listings and the properties. Such a simple system, such a free, simple, but it has, using that in their team has allowed the whole team to work in flow. Instead of spending energy thinking, oh God, have I done that? Right. Now spending the energy just getting the job done and ticking through the list,
Yeah, and it makes it really nice inside a platform like Trello because the whole team can see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So if something has not been done and you see somebody struggling trying to get something else done, you can say, hey, can I pick this up for you and go ahead and knock this off our to-do list? So I can
and you can set it to remind you even.
Right. So yeah, I can totally see that. So one of the other things that you teach your clients is that not having systems can actually result in missing pieces or missing processes and lack of communication between these vital parts inside the system. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so sure. I mean, actually, I find that most of the time not having a system leads to double up as opposed to missing things. Yeah. For most of the clients, if they don't have administration systems, they're entering something into this system and then they've got to enter in something to this system instead of just having something that's a cohesive across the whole business. Yeah. I mean, I guess we can look at a really simple example. I was trying to think of an example to illustrate this that everybody could relate to. Yeah. And I thought it's kind of like when I run out of milk at home. Yeah. So I think, God, I've got to go to the store and get some milk. And I think, okay, I'll go do it on the way home. And then I get home and I open the fridge, and lo and behold, there's a brand new bottle of milk there, because I didn't communicate with my husband that I was getting the milk, and he didn't communicate with me that he was getting the milk. So we both went and got milk. And hey, we'll use the milk, like businesses will use the stuff that they double up on. But it's just, was that really the best way for us to use our time and our money? Whereas if we had, communicated with each other, and likewise, if we have a job management system that we're entering something in, and then we're entering something in with our bookkeeping system, if we get them communicating to each other, how much work does it save?
Right. And that was a really good example, right? Because how many times does that happen to everybody in our homes? But then if you think about working with somebody inside your business, that can totally happen. And it kind of halts everybody, because now you've got, this miscommunication caused this bit of chaos that you have to kind of stop and deal with, and you could be doing other things. So that's
or the worst problem, which is where nobody gets milk, and then everybody's got nothing for their cup of tea.
Right, exactly. So I know that one of the things that you work with your clients on is like really mapping out these fundamental parts of their business so that they don't struggle with those, chaos moments or chaotic moments. How exactly do we map these out?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I've developed a workbook for this, and it kind of takes, and so what we're going to do in my next interview is go through this process in detail.
Okay.
But I guess everybody can check out my workbook. It's on my website, thehelpfulacademy.com, and it will take them through the process of mapping it out.
Awesome.
But it starts with, it's got 5 steps. You kind of need to start to think about why you're in business and start there. And then, you move through the different phases. So I think, should we save that for the next?
Yeah, if you've already prepared something, we'll definitely save that for the next one, because I think that's a great platform to really dive into on the next interview.
But I guess, if I can give an example of why it's important from my own business, because I did not take my own advice just recently, and it caused chaos. So last year I started to build my helpfulacademy.com, my online learning platform. And I just wanted to rip into it. I wanted to get started. So I chose a really pretty WordPress theme, because I built all my websites in WordPress, and I chose the LMS, like the learning management system plugin that I wanted, and added on a security plugin and whatever. And I threw it all together, and then I spent hours making everything pretty, branding it all, putting all my content in, and then thinking, that's not right. And little bugs started to appear out of the cracks. And this didn't work. And then that was not working. And I was just like, what's going on? So I had to get my developer to come and have a look at it. Turned out, because I hadn't made a plan from the beginning and actually checked that everything was compatible and talked to each other, I had all of these conflicts, and it was unrepairable. I had to restart my website from scratch. All because I didn't check that everything talked to each other at the beginning. I just got into the fun part without actually making a plan. And I thought, this is a really good example of what I teach, but I didn't actually take my own advice.
And how many of us have done that? I mean, I'm just saying, it's definitely one of those things,
Yeah, but this is why I always, like, with my clients, start at the beginning. Okay, what is the plan? Where are we wanting to get to? Let's build the foundation, make sure everything talks to each other before we get to the fun part. I mean, I know it's so tempting, especially because I'm a creative. So all I want to do is race ahead to the fun part, but hours and lots of dollars. So I had to start all over again.
Yeah, and lots of tears, I'm sure.
Lots of swearing.
So let's say that I built all these systems, and perhaps never really stood back and reviewed these systems as a whole. And we started talking about some of that as you told your story. Why is it so important to ensure that I'm reviewing these systems on a regular basis, but not just looking at them individually, but looking at the entire process as a whole?
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like I probably did just touch on it a little bit, with that story of conflict. I mean, I really, I guess in a little way, I'm a little envious of startup businesses who are watching this for the first time and they don't have many systems yet, because that is like gold. That opportunity to actually do this from the beginning is so oh, it's an enviable position, that's for sure. But unfortunately, most of the businesses that I work with are well established and they're successful and they've already got a whole bunch of systems. But I guess the importance of stepping back and reviewing them is because usually you'll notice something's not working. So you'll get to that point and you'll think, oh, this is not working. This is costing me time or money, or I'm just fluffing about, and that's the point where they get me in and they say, Kat, we need some help. So you can avoid that from happening if you actually make it in your annual plan to every 3 months or whatever, just review your systems, review what's not working, and make little tweaks before it gets to that stage, before it gets to the stage where the business is just blowing up because it's surpassed your existing systems.
Yeah. So just because you have a system in place doesn't mean you've actually documented the process of that system. And in order to test whether or not it's working, you kind of need to know what all the steps are inside the process, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk for a moment about that, especially for these new people out here who have not started really diving into their systems yet. Like, what does this need to look like if I'm going to be able to look at those key performance indicators to determine that my system is actually working?
Yeah, I like to draw it on a piece of paper, actually. Well, not on a piece of paper. I have a mapping tool that I use on my computer, but you can easily do it on a whiteboard or on a piece of paper and just think, like let's look at a new client process. So if you have a new client that's coming on board in your business, or even if you're doing a coach, what is each step of the process that needs to happen? And so you write down one step in a box, and then you draw a little line to the next step and you go that box, and then from there you start to see a visual picture of how everything integrates and what needs to connect to what. Oh, I need to send this quote from this system, or I need to send this email from this system, but would it be better to have one system that I could do both of those things in?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so by looking at that graphic that you have created, you're able to take a step back and say, this piece over here is working, but this piece over here needs some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love to color code things too. And so if I'm drawing that graphic, I'll have, my emails every time I need to send an email in another color, so that I can quickly look at it and go, oh, I need to write the content for that email.
Right.
And so if I need to review all my emails at any stage, I can go back and I can just go, oh yeah, I need to do that one, that one, that one, that one.
Right. And it makes it really easy in one glance to see you have 5 emails on the board that you have to write and get ready.
Yeah,
I love that.
If you have a map.
Yeah, I totally love that. So I know we're going to be diving much, much deeper into mapping the 8 business fundamentals in the next interview. But is there anything else that we need to know right now with regard to really getting our business fundamentals in place?
I don't think so, but I just hope that I haven't blown everybody's mind by going, oh, there's 8 things, because it is a lot, and it's okay if you're feeling like it's a lot. Okay, so I just want to reassure everybody that no business has every single one of these eight fundamentals nailed perfectly. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming from a different place, and everybody's business's priorities are a little different depending on what level their business is at. So if you don't have all of these things absolutely nailed down, that is okay. The important thing is that you know about them and that you're actually starting to make a plan and put systems in place. So just a matter of taking one step at a time.
Yeah. And I think even if you do have them all exactly perfect, your business is going to evolve out of that, right? I mean, we talked about that a little bit, before, where you find yourself with so much going on that now this little system you started with no longer works, and it has to scale up in order to handle the volume. So there's a lot of that going on as well. Like, so keeping in mind that this is a process, this is not I do it one time and that's it. This is a process. And you're going to grow with it right along with your business. So
yeah,
definitely.
That's a really good point, because this never stops.
Yeah.
You never get to that point where you think, okay, I have this nailed, I can just rest now. Unfortunately, it's not like that.
No.
And it's always just a matter of improving one small thing at a time. And, where I start with my clients is when we do because I run a business warrant of fitness, so I actually take a gauge and color code, what level that they're at in their business for each of the key functions, which we'll go into in my next interview. Mm-hmm. But once we've got that, they can go into this point of overwhelm where it's like, where do I start? So what I always take it back to, okay, is think about the thing that will make the biggest difference to your business right now. What are those things?
Yeah.
And start there. So what if this is not done yet? So what if this is not done? What is going to have the major impact right now? And start there. And we'll get to that stuff in time. So
yeah. And I love that. Really, definitely breaking it down to those things that are absolutely the most important. So thank you. You guys have been given permission. You don't have to work on all this other stuff. Let's get to the important things.
Yeah. And let's not get too distracted because, we all know there's so much work to be done just day to day to get through and get the money coming in. So
yeah, totally. Well, before I let you go, how can people reach out to you if they want to pick your brain a little more about these 8 fundamentals, or they want to access some of your resources, or perhaps work with you? How can they reach out to you?
Sure. So my websites are www.thehelpfulacademy.com. That website's still a bit of a work in progress, but you'll be able to see a few resources there, and I've got all my training and classes coming soon. I'm also on Instagram as @thehelpfulbrand or @cat_Soper, and I'm also on Facebook. So they can check me out at The Helpful Academy or @CatSoper on Facebook.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Guys, click on the links below this video and take advantage of some of the resources that Kat is sharing with you today so that you can map out your 8 fundamentals inside your business to make sure that your business runs smoothly so you can up-level your business and get it where you want it to be. For those of you that are part of the All Access Pass, stick around because we are going to be taking a much, much deeper dive into these fundamentals with Kat in the next interview. If you have not yet grabbed your All Access Pass, there is also a button below this video where you can click on that link and it'll take you directly over where you can snag your All Access Pass. Inside that pass, you're going to find all of these live interviews that you are watching right now, plus these much deeper dives that I am taking with every single speaker. You do not want to miss those. So make sure you grab your All Access Pass today. Kat, thank you so much for being here and sharing all this amazing information. And guys, we'll see you inside the All Access Pass. Bye, everyone.
Bye.